going to kind of keep on this theme now of team building. And the next speaker I'm about to bring on is a guy who I have long admired in the team building, business building arena, if you will. Mr. Tom Capuano, the owner of the Pillar to Post franchise here in Southwest Ohio. Tom started this business. I'm not looking at your bio even, so like this is off the cuff for a second, but my memory says you started in either 97 or 98. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I started in real estate in 98 also. And I, want to give Tom his proper recognition here, or his proper bio here in a second, but I just know that, our careers in this real estate industry have kind of run parallel, if you will. And when I was deciding to do this event, I knew Tom was one of those guys I wanted on here as well. He just brings a lot. And so his session is going to be one that I think you're going to find a lot of value in: building a strong organization with leadership and vision. Tom is maybe the most important part of his bio. He's a graduate of The Ohio State University. Is that the most important part, Tom? Close.
No.
It's close.
I'm married to my beautiful wife, and that's not the most important part.
Tracy would probably say that is not the most important part. Tom's married to Tracy, and they have two wonderful daughters, Grace and Olivia. Tom is, as I said, the franchise owner for Pillar to Post Home Inspections, a Capuano team. They've been in business since 1997. If I had just looked at your bio, I would have known the answer to that. I would say, I said this earlier, I think I even said this when we did your little intro, Tom, a week or two ago, as we announced you as a speaker. Tom Capuano and Pillar to Post are the only home inspection team and company I've ever recommended in my 22 years of selling real estate. I had great fortune, I guess, to meet up with them early on and just recognized, that it was a business I admired and they were doing things the right way. And so it is literally the only one I've ever recommended, probably the only one I ever will recommend. Tom's grown this business to over $2 million in revenues. He employs 16 team members, 9 full-time inspectors. His team, this is a crazy number, his team has performed over 42,000 home inspections. Tom, that's a lot, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot. They've maintained the top 2 earning positions in the Pillar to Post network of over 600 franchisees, I guess would be the right way to say that, since their inception. Tom is a speaker and trainer at Pillar to Post brand conferences. He is a E-Myth certified coach. His leisure is he's an avid bicyclist, loves cooking on his big green egg and his fantastic pizza oven, and spending time, of course, golfing and with his family. Tom's motto is help others create vision for the impossible and help them to achieve it. Mr. Capuano, thank you very much for doing this. I appreciate it very, very much. There's one part of that bio I just realized you told me before that you left off and I didn't add back in. I'll let you fill in that blank.
Yeah, I spent some time growing up in the Marine Corps, so that was talk about leadership and training. That's it gets right to the core there.
Great, thank you, Tom. It's all yours.
Really, just building an organization and what that looks like, and how when I started my home inspection business, I knew I did not want to be a home inspector. I wanted to build a home inspection business. So obviously, I didn't really understand business because I had had a previous business that failed. So, one of the first places that you need to start with is really, how do you lead yourself? And, by becoming an E-Myth coach and reading the E-Myth book, it's really kind of defining the value, your passion, and your purpose. And really, I think the first 2 speakers talked about it, Fred and John, and success principles are the same for many people. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want it to feel like? What do you value most? What would you like to say about your life before it's too late to do anything about it? If you no longer had to work, what would you do? Who would you do it with? What do you daydream about? All those things that the first 2 speakers kind of talked about. Really, why are you here? How can you serve others? What are your greatest strengths? What are your greatest weaknesses? The next piece that I always like to talk about is and what do you want your life to? What do you want in your life, and what don't you want in your life? Make a list. And determine it and do it with intent. And I love how, the first 2 speakers kind of rolled into that. The next piece is really helped me build my business and add people to my team was really, what are my core values? And I would challenge you to define your core values, write them down. there's many pieces of our lives that we need to have core values written down, whether it's health, whether it's your family, whether it's work, personal, your faith. What does all that look like? And what are those core values that you bring to the table? And then once you write all those down and kind of define them, pick 2 or 3 that really are going to be the flagship core values that you're going to carry into your business. That seems like a lot of work to get that far, but it's going to help put the building blocks together as you build your business and build your team. One of the things that E-Myth has you do is this is a big one. Write your eulogy. What do you want people to say about you after you're gone? And you've heard start with the end in mind. Well, there's no bigger end than that, is there? So I think I did this and I struggled with it, and I rewrote it a few times. And talk about humbling, but it was an invaluable exercise to really help me, live my life with intent. And there's no better sense of urgency than that. So once you've kind of put down what you want, what you don't want, your core values, what you want people to say, your eulogy, you want to form those together so you can put together, what's your purpose statement? If this is like your elevator speech for yourself, what do you want people, how do you define yourself to others? When somebody says, hey, who's Tom Capuano? Boom, I'm going to say, hey, listen, I'm here to help others become successful and build a business that serves their life and, gives them the time and money that they want, whatever the level of achievement that is, whatever the amount of effort they want to give. And I think that's right. I love that. And whether it's other business owners, whether it's my employees, whether it's the managers that work in my company, it's I'm looking to help them, have this information resonate with them so they can build the life that they want to live. So your purpose statement basically says, hey, here I am, world. This is what I want to do and help others. The other thing is, and I heard the other speakers talk about it, was write your goals down. If you don't write them down, they're just a hope. And we don't want hope. We want goals. Set 6-month, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, even 10-year goals. Now, certainly they're going to change as we move through life, and your goals and your aspirations are going to change based on the effort that you're going to put forward. But think about, how much money do I want to make? 6 months, year, 10 years? What kind of professional growth do I want to achieve? What do I want my business to look like? What type of travel do I want to do? What kind of hobbies do I want to partake? How I'm going to retire? How I'm going to sell my business if I start a business, if that's my desire I want to do. So we've got to write these things down, and I would challenge you to do it and to start looking at them every single day. Because without intent, you're a rudderless ship. So once we know where we want to go, I think the next step is, as you're building a business, you want to build a brand. What's your brand commitment? And really, the brand commitment is really connecting how you want your customers to feel when they do business with you. And I think this is really critical. We're all consumers. We all go out and we experience services and products. Some are great, some aren't so great. I would tell you to be more observant in how you're being served as a consumer, and then bring that back to your company, and you want to craft that brand commitment. And really, branding takes on your values and your vision and your passion and purpose, and takes all those from you and connects them with culture that you want to build in your company, and how you want your customers to experience your service from you and from your employees. Your brand idea, it really differentiates you from everybody else, And the reason it's so easy, once you start understanding how to bring your personal core values into your business, is because there's nobody like you. There's nobody like me. We're going to have a different perspective on how we serve others, and it's really exciting. We struggled with hiring employees until we kind of got the core values and then how those translate into brand commitment. So here's a great example. If care is one of your core values, and it's one of my core values, and it's one we want to have at Pillar to Post, you want to go out and hire people with care. If somebody doesn't care, why bring them on your team? I don't care how good of a salesperson or accountant or whatever they're doing. If they can't show care, then they're really not going to fit. I'm sure you've all experienced hiring somebody on your team and they just quite didn't fit. They just were kind of not quite all the way there. And I'll tell you right now, it took me a long time and a lot of money, but they didn't match up with your core values. And you just get that feeling in your gut that they just aren't a match. And I take it back to core values. So I think it's critical that we want to make sure that we hire people with match our core values that can carry out our brand commitment, because that's the promise we make to our customers. Your brand commitment is just a brief statement that describes, how your customers are going to feel with every interaction of your company, whether it's going to your website, whether it's looking at your Facebook, your Instagram, how somebody answers the telephone, what your emails look like. How is that customer taken care of? What's their perspective? What's their feeling? Because it's a total expression of the why behind you do every single thing in your entire business. That brand commitment is really an explicit, agreement among your entire staff. It really accentuates the idea of everything they do that enhances the emotional connection to that customer. Customers do business with people because of emotion. We may think we're very logical when we go out to buy that car, but it's emotion that pulls the trigger. We want to make sure that we are emotionally connecting to those customers with our brand commitment, and that statement needs to be critical with that. Really, it's one of the most important leadership pieces that you can put into your business. It's the foundation to everything you do, from the scripts you use to your website, like we talked about, how you answer the phone, how you introduce yourself to people, how you present your company. It gives meaning to the entire work of the organization. If each team member understands the explicit brand commitment and how we want that customer to feel, basically what you're doing is you're empowering them to act independently of you. And the beauty of that is that, if you're building a company that you want to free yourself up with time, you want to empower everybody to make decisions that serves the best interest of the customer. And if anybody on my team says, hey, I did this because this was going to take care of the customer, I've got their back. I might not have agreed with the decision or how they did it, but if they said, hey, listen, I thought this was the best way to take care of this situation, that's good with me. That's good enough for me. Yeah, in the service, they call it decentralized command, which basically allows people, whether it's your salespeople or your home inspectors in my case, or people on the telephone, to make decisions on the fly and not have to put somebody on hold and call me to say, hey, Tom, what should I do? What should I do? It's basically, it's in them. It's in their DNA on how to take care of people. And it really makes my job so much easier as a business owner. Think about your brand commitment. Sit down and write what the best Google review that your customer could give you based on your products or services. What would that be like? What would they say? And that, if you're having a challenge on what that brand commitment looks like, you want people to feel great about doing business with you. What a wonderful experience it was. How much care and information they learned from the home inspector. How he took care of the home by wearing his booties. We left the place nice and clean. We got a nice report at the end. I felt comfortable and confident for what he did. Those are the things that you want to be able to instill when you think about brand commitment. So now we've gone through what your purpose is, what your core values are, what the brand commitment you want to bring to the marketplace and bring to the culture of your team. Now we want to build the organizational strategy. Fred hit on it great. How we build a team. And I think the building blocks that we laid in here prior are really going to help create that framework towards what your vision and what you want to provide. I like to, this is to me, this is where really I could really start to really strategically build my business and my team. And really, there's nothing more powerful than putting together an organizational chart. I'm sure you've seen them. I don't know if you have one for your business, but I think you'd agree it's one of the most powerful tools that I use to build my business. So a chart really is just a graphic depiction of, the functions that your company needs to be successful. Notice how I didn't say the people in your company. What the organizational strategy is, how your company will be successful. How will it execute the vision, brand commitment? How will it serve your customers? It's not about building a company around me. It's about what does the company need to survive and grow and thrive. When you start building a team and a company, that's a separate entity. It's not me. It's not Tom's home inspection business. It's Pillar to Post Capuano team. So as the leader and CEO of that company, you've got to hold that business and you've got to take care of it because you're the chief caretaker of the business. You've got to develop the strategy. You've got to find the people that want to take care of that company as well. I think when we start talking about org charts and things like that, we kind of need to have double vision. And really, what I mean by that is that we need to have one eye looking at our organizational strategy and our organizational chart. What does the company look like today? And then where we want that company to be 3 to 5 years from now. And I wanted to grow my business to have an inspector manager, have an office manager, have an accounting manager. But when I started, my name was in all those boxes. But all those functions were necessary for the company to grow. And unfortunately, like you started a business, you're flipping hats on and off. Okay, take the garbage out. Okay, do the accounting. Okay, go to the bank. You're putting hats on left and right. The org chart helps you see where you need to grow and where you need to find people to either grow from internally into those positions or grow externally and hire them into the company to help you and get that company where you want it to be. I love this piece of it. Again, you need to build your org chart around business activities and not around people. It's critical because people are going to come and go. And when they go, if they're a big part of your business, that part of the business leaves. So think about, a McDonald's. We've got 16, 17, 18-year-old kids running McDonald's, multi-million-dollar franchise units. They understand how to do French fries, how to take an order on the phone or through the drive-thru, how to make a Big Mac, how to make a milkshake. And those kids come and go. Can you imagine the recruiting and training to go on in a McDonald's franchise? But largest restaurant in the world, right? You know what you're going to get when you go to McDonald's. The French fries are going to taste the same. Hamburger's going to be the same. I mean, it might not be the best choice for a meal, but they provide consistency. And they do that because they build systems that meets the company's needs to provide that brand commitment. So you're probably saying, well, it's just me. And my business is, not very big. And I just don't think I'll wait to create my org chart till I really need it. Well, that may be so, but I tell you, you're making a serious error. Even if your name is in 10 of the boxes of the company functions, you need to start an org chart. This is like, this to me, it's like a chessboard. Where are my pieces and how am I going to grow and how am I going to win this game called business? So I think if you start with an org chart, it's one of the best decisions you make in your business because it's not where you're at now, it's where you need to go. And I don't know about you, but I'm a visual guy. I got to see all the nuts and bolts. And, just to wrap up, really an action plan for each one of you. Review your values, passion, and purpose. Take a look at your brand experience. What's your brand commitment? Is it communicated to your team? If I called your office and asked, hey, why should I do business with the Eric Lowry team? Boom, can those people say that? Put together an org chart. I would certainly urge you to say, hey, listen, spend time every day as the CEO of your business. Work on your business a half day a week, couple hours a day, and not in it. It's critical if you're going to grow that business to where it can give you time and give you money and help you reach the goals that you want to reach as a person and as a business owner. So.
Yeah, that's one of the bigger challenges, right? Especially when you're the solopreneur, when you were the first inspector, when I was the only real estate guy. It's working on your business. It's a challenge. Yeah, you have to set aside time to make sure you do that, or you just won't do it.
Critical, and I think that we all get caught in the trenches, and the generals aren't in the trenches. They're back looking over the battlefield. So just keep that in mind, and you'll have great success.
Yeah. Tom, thank you so much for doing this. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I think that I have a lot of appreciation for what you and Tracy have built, and I appreciate you take the time to do this today. It means a lot. So thank you very much. So if people want to reach out to you, I guarantee you there are people in our marketplace that want to know you better. How do they best reach you?
Facebook, Tom Capuano. I'm a friend of yours, Eric, so they can find me there. Send me an instant, private message. I'd be happy to share the slide deck. Unfortunately, you didn't get to see. But really good information, and this is a lot of information in 20 minutes. Typically, it might take us 3 or 4 weeks to go through some of that stuff. I'm happy to share it, and I hope, I wish all your viewers the best of luck, and I look forward to hearing the rest of the speaker lineup.
Thanks, sir.